Hello everyone, my name's Matt Johnston and welcome to the Friday Interesting Times, where the show is fit to burst with political comedy from the UK. The big news, as seems to be the case since the 5th of July for some reason, is the news that isn't the news, the story that isn't the story about electoral interference in US politics that isn't electoral interference in US politics. Donald Trump has made an official complaint to the Federal Election Commission. As I've already covered on this show, this isn't against election law in the US. And I don't know if you have this in the US, but in the UK, this is called getting your excuses in early. And it's very much Trump's go-to position when it comes to close elections. Going back to 2016, when he claimed voter fraud and then bizarrely won. And then in 2020, when he lost and claimed voter machine fraud. Now it's foreign machine voting interference fraud. A former Labour activist, Matthew McGregor, who campaigned for Barack Obama back in 2008, said that this whole thing was a political stunt. Wow, they have Cockney rhyming slang in the States too. He said that the most that a foreign volunteer could expect is a bottle of water or pretzels. Really? Not both?
Peter, what's happened to the special relationship?
That's it.
I was just going to say, with all due respect to my, adopted country of the United Kingdom, if a bunch of English people rock up on, a doorstep in Georgia, first of all, unless they are speaking the Queen's English.
Excuse me, would you mind voting for Kamala Harris?
Oh, come on now. Let's not kid ourselves that you Americans aren't just a little bit in love with this accent. We voice your commercials, host your late night shows and win your Oscars, and we are acutely aware that has nothing to do with talent. If someone who speaks like this knocks on anyone's door in the US in the next couple of weeks, we are getting a lot more than a vote, if you know what I mean. But the Trump campaign is trying to make something out of this by claiming that this isn't the first time that the Brits have tried to interfere in US elections, citing the 17th century, which is just a load of nonsense. We didn't interfere in elections back then because you didn't have them. Mind you, neither did we. I mean, you had a choice, the guy in the crown or death, but no elections. Nigel Farage has laid into Labour's electoral interference. Surely these people were going in a personal capacity.
You went earlier this year to support Donald Trump.
I went in a purely personal capacity.
Yes, like that. But it doesn't matter. As far as fanboy Farage is concerned, the Don can do no wrong. This is him talking about Kamala Harris, calling the fascist Donald Trump a fascist.
And she's desperate, and I've no doubt these attacks will become even more hysterical.
And when it was pointed out to him that Donald Trump said much worse...
Look, this is American politics.
We're not talking about him being in McDonald's. We're talking about the insults that he levels at Kamala Harris.
Yeah, that's the game in America.
But Farage is such a keeper of moral virtues, he has double the standard of other politicians.
Remember the advertisement that appeared on LinkedIn from Sophia Patel basically said, look, come on in, the water's lovely, everything's going to be free.
Well, she said, we'll sort your housing.
Yeah,
she didn't say everything's going to be free.
She didn't say you've got to pay your own airfare, did she?
You're an MP that's been in the States, stood alongside Donald Trump at rallies.
Yeah, but I paid my own airfare.
Not just a lie, but an easily disprovable lie, as he actually declared both flight and accommodation on his register of interest, saying he was flying out to support my friend Donald Trump at the RNC, adding, "We all have a duty to support and defend democracy." Well, Nigel, let's hope that when the Federal Election Commission sees this, that they feel the same way. The thing is, though, we don't need to worry about Trump forgiving when it's much more likely he'll be forgetting. This is a man, don't forget, that spent 40 minutes dancing at a Q&A town hall rally, that talks about Facebook posts he's seen with immigrants eating cats and dogs, and dead golfers' penises. Attention to detail is really not his forte. Let him come to the UK. We'll gold spray paint a papier-mâché crown, give him some chicken nuggets, and proclaim him High Count. Because that's the greeting everyone will give him. In fact, if you want electoral interference, how about this?
Next May, we have the English County Council election. There are 1,352 Conservative county councillors out there whose seats are up for grabs. So I'm about to send a letter to all 1,352 of them to say, look, we are standing in every single seat in the English county election. Before we get the campaign into full swing, I want to give those county councillors who really believe in the country, who understand and know that things need to be turned around because we're in such a state of decline, I want to give them the opportunity to come and join us and stand for Reform UK.
Join me or die, the Reform rat deserting ship rallying call.
But I do believe but the vast majority of them are very decent men and women who believe in very similar values to me.
Well, make up your mind, Nige. Are they decent men and women, or do they have similar values to you? They can't be both. In fact, when it comes to US election interference, Starmer must be glad of a little distraction. At least this is over manpower rather than money. Yes, this is the news that a lot of countries are seeking reparations for Britain's involvement in the slave trade. Keir Starmer, seen here realising there's a fallout in the US, a fallout at the Commonwealth, and things aren't a lot better at home. He would happily go into outer space for some peace if he hadn't already pissed off the guy with all the rockets. Next up, North Korea. Oh, and finally, Badenoch and Jenrick are going head to dickhead in the race for the worst job in politics, leader of the Conservative Party. Norbert Jenrick appeared on Newsnight, where he was asked about misogynistic comments made by Christopher Chope, Conservative MP, and crucially, Jenrick backer, about how Kemi Badenoch would be too preoccupied with her kids to be an effective leader of the opposition.
Are you going to call out the sexism that is?
Well, I said within a couple of hours of hearing of that statement that I disagreed with Chris Chope.
Because it's sexist.
I'm a father of 3 young children myself.
But he wouldn't say that about you for having 3 children, but he said it about Kemi Badenoch.
I can't speak for him, but I said I disagree with him.
Was that sexist?
I disagree. It was not something that I would say. It's an outdated.
Was it sexist?
It's an outdated attitude.
Was it sexist?
I'm not going to get into passing judgment on that.
Why can't you just call it for what it is? It's sexist.
It's not for me to explain away the remarks of another member of Parliament. I can only say.
No, but it is for you, as a potential leader of a political party, to call out sexism when you hear it. Then Kemi Badenoch went on to Nick Robinson's Radio 4 show to show she was really all about the bants.
You said something intriguing the other day. You said, I will be a fun leader. Really?
How I will be leader will be constructively opposing, but where we think that they're getting things wrong, pointing that out, bringing in some humour, bringing in some lightheartedness. I think that we've been very gloomy.
Yeah, we have been very gloomy for about 14 years now. I can't pinpoint exactly when it started, but I do remember feeling a lot more upbeat around July 4th-ish. The most remarkable thing about this, though, is that they are fighting to be leader of the Conservative Party. I mean, who the hell wants that job? The 2 tramps fighting over a shit sandwich, essentially a Boris Johnson seat warmer or a Farage fluffer. There are no winners in this contest, only losers. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you have enjoyed these videos, then feel free to like, subscribe, share and hit all the notifications bell. Because I'm doing 4 a week now, and if you don't do all that, you might miss one. You definitely don't want that, do you? So, I'll see you Sunday. Take care.